This week, we're talking all things budget, borders, and bombs. Let me tell you, Governor Ned Lamont is counting his coins. ICE is raiding LA, and just things are combusting and going crazy, okay? In Israel, they're bombing first and asking questions later, okay? The headlines this week are extremely messy, and the politicians are even messier. So we're going to talk about that all today on Black and Classic Podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Monet.
Blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture. I think that's what you're asking. I have no.
So, you guys, I told you that I would be away due to some technical difficulties. And yes, there were some. I was getting ready to record. Some things went down with my camera. I tried to fix it. It got too crazy. And I said, you know what? Just step away. Okay. I had recorded 2 separate times. My camera was overheating. I don't know what that's about, but whatever. It was overheating. Then something happened with the lens. I said, you know what? Now's not the time. Now is not the time. Thankfully, it has been kind of a slow news week, so we can simply just kind of roll with what happened last week into some things this week. But thank you guys so much for being patient with me, because let me tell you, okay, it was so frustrating. Like when you're on a roll, when you're finding that groove and then something happens, it just like gives you this feeling of like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? But you know what? I will not be deterred, okay? And I am here for you guys because I refuse. I refuse to let the devil win and let me stop what I'm supposed to be doing, talking to my people. I refuse. I refuse. So, with that being said, we are going to jump into our recap. Now, I had posted a short clip from episode 130, and it was just basically the clip about Kilmar Garcia, who was, remember, he was deported and then brought back from El Salvador. So there was this very, very long comment. But I appreciate it. And it's from Dax Jalden. It says, it infuriates me how politically biased left-wing media pushes the false narrative of no due process when he 100% received due process for almost a decade between 2012 and 2019. He was placed in removal proceedings, saw 2 immigration judges, had legal representation, and was given 2 rulings, a final order of removal, while simultaneously granting him a withholding of removal protection order, confirming that his claims were fully adjudicated under the law. That in and of itself is the definition of due process. That is such a thorough breakdown of what happened. So I do appreciate that. He goes on to continues to say, on the flip side, it infuriates me how politically biased right-wing media always ignores the clear enforcement violation deporting him to El Salvador when he had an existing WOR, and that's the withholding of removal, in place. They always fall back on the MS-13 allegations, trying to mask it, claiming the deportation was warranted as if we should just ignore the rule of law, which is what I found interesting, that they said it was an administrative error. And I just feel like they had a list of people they knew, again, that they wanted to just go ahead and deport. And he just so happened to be someone on that list, although he did have that, as he stated in this comment, that withholding of removal. And that was what I talked about last time, where he had this in place. And that is the reason why they had to bring him back from El Salvador and admit their error. So it continues to say, just because the government claims you're MS-13 or guilty of human smuggling, that doesn't mean you're automatically guilty. The government has a burden of proof, and now we wait. So yes, we definitely now have to wait. I do think it's, again, it's just a tricky situation that people come in illegally and then they're kind of afforded, like, I don't want to say immediately, but they're afforded the rights of Americans. And then if you really look at it, the rights that not all Americans are given, So it's a little bit unfair to me to just simply say, like, well, you've been here for X amount of years, so you should just ipso facto get the same rights. And then sometimes even more rights, even more benefits than actual American citizens. So I just thought that was a really great comment. Thank you for that comment. Thank you for that explanation, because it helps sometimes when you have a broader understanding of what's going on as opposed to just headlines. I tell you guys all the time, don't just read headlines. Get your opinion from the left and the right, and then kind of come with your own conclusion of what each side is arguing. Because if you just look at one side, you're only going to get some small perspective, as opposed to getting both, and then even looking at independent media and understanding what independent media is presenting to you, and then again come up with your own idea. Now, with that being said, we are going to jump into our local news. Now, first up, I just want to say this was really interesting to me because it was like an interview with Governor Ned Lamont. Of course, you guys know that is the governor of Connecticut. I talk about him all the time. And the one thing that I do want to point out is that in this interview, I guess, I don't know, it felt like it was almost like let me address all the things that people are saying. It didn't feel like it was an authentic interview. It was just like there's some topics that are floating out there, and we need to discuss them. And what best way than to sit down and do this interview? That's what it felt like to me. But in that, Governor Ned Lamont started out and he said, I have 187 legislators. They all say I need more money. We've got more money going to education than ever before, more money going to New Haven, which is a city in Connecticut, than ever before. And sometimes money is not always the answer. Sometimes management and leadership is. And then when he was asked about over saving, Governor Lamont said, I think that's wrong. We still have an awful lot of debt. We'll pay down about another $1 billion this coming budget cycle of pension debt. So I wanted to really, really stick to the part where he says sometimes money is not always the answer. Sometimes management and leadership is. Because you guys know, I sit down every Sunday and I tell you guys, get involved at your local level, right? If there are things you want to see happen in your town and your city, get involved at the local level, because you may be told by politicians, right, in your town, or the scuttlebutt, right, is that we need state funding. We need state funding to do these things. The town needs state funding. The town needs money from Connecticut, or if you're in New York, the town needs money from New York, or if you're in Georgia, the town needs money from Georgia. Like, you hear these things, and Governor Ned Lamont is like, no, no, no. We are giving you money. Like, we are looking to do what we need to do to give the funding where it needs to go. However, if your mayor, because some people don't have mayors, some people have town managers, city managers, if those people in charge aren't handling the budget correctly, it doesn't matter how much funding you have. If you have someone in the seat who needs to make the decision, who is making a poor decision financially for your town. And that's why you need to be involved, because you need to know, public budget hearings are public. So if it's budget time and your town is having a public hearing regarding the budget, you need to go and you need to listen and you need to ask the questions, because sometimes, it's not that the money is divvied up amongst all these different departments or different sectors in your local government. It's really because there's salaries, there's, people want to events, right? Like different events and creating different initiatives and all of these things that are just, what's the best word? What's the PC word? Because I don't want to see, okay, I'll just say BS, right? I can't think of a better word, and I won't say the full word. So it's BS, right? It's all BS. And they're doing it because they think that presenting it to the public, or maybe, again, when you get into these chairs, you gotta, do good on your promise. So if someone helped you get into this town manager seat, you might need to give them a job. You might need to bring them on as promised with X amount or close to X amount as their salary. That is taxpayer dollars. Okay. They're not getting, upwards of 100, 120, $150,000 just out of nowhere. That is taxpayer money. You need to know these things. When you see all these town initiatives, that is your money, and then you're driving, right? Let's just say you're in your town, you see a town initiative go up, and it's this brand new program, or they're building this brand new building and all these different things. And as you're driving there to participate in this, because you're like, oh, that's great, I love that for my town. As you're driving there, there's vacant homes, there's potholes, streets are torn up, your grass, like, the more local grass landscape, run over. It's not, well kept, it's not groomed, nothing. And you're like, wow, this town looks pretty messed up. And I'm headed to this initiative. Maybe that money could have been used for something else, so you have to really, really, really pay attention and get involved, because it might not be top down. It could be the people at that lower level getting money from the top and then just using it however they see fit without actually thinking of the residents of that town. And if you are a resident of that town paying taxes, property tax, car tax, especially in Connecticut, they love a tax. Whatever the tax is that you are paying, you need to know where your money is going and why. If I pay a car tax, y'all know my nose runs. When I pay a car tax, please believe I don't want to be driving down Nair Road with a bunch of potholes. No, thank you. No, thank you. Because you want me to pay a car tax in this town and this is how the roads are? Tearing up my car? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We got a problem. We got a problem. And we need to figure this out. Why am I paying taxes? If you are driving by trees that are falling over, the brush is everywhere, you need to go ahead, go down to your town and explain to them, as a tax-paying citizen, resident, hello, I need all that fixed. And I think that's what I'm trying to get across. It's not always just, oh, well, it's President Trump. Oh, well, it's, the governor. It could really be your mayor who's fucking shit up. There, I'll say it. Your mayor can definitely be fucking shit up. Your city mayor, your city manager, your town manager, your officials that's in that role, they're probably getting money and doing what they want, having parties and all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, pay attention. And I love that he said that. Love, love, love that he said that. I also thought it was crazy that he said they have another $1 billion in debt to pay off. Listen, where do the money be going? And then they never want to tax the rich. Never want to tax the rich. It is absolutely crazy. Moving on. So next up, we have immigration advocates rally outside New Haven Federal Building. In addition, I just wanted to also mention that there was a Connecticut student from Meriden who had been detained, and he, I guess, was on the verge of graduating high school. So he was honored at his high school graduation. Now, with the immigration advocates that were outside of this New Haven Federal Building, I thought this was very interesting because at the time when I was looking into this story, not all of the information that we have now had come out, but I did want to mention it because it kind of connected to something I said in a previous episode. So a 13-year-old daughter spoke at a rally because recently her mother had been arrested and detained by immigration, ICE. And they said that allegedly, but now we have the video showing the proof, ICE had blocked in the mother's car while 2 kids were in there. So that's a 13-year-old as well as her younger brother. They were in the car and they just basically snatched her out and just took her, right? We have the footage now. That is indeed what happened. So the New Haven police chief stated that the mother had a court appearance for breach of peace and 3rd-degree assault charges. Now, this was very interesting to me because in episode 129, right? Yes, 129, we had discussed the Truth Act. Now, the Truth Act basically had been expanded to allow law enforcement to either comply or not comply given the circumstances. So if ICE came into their town under this Truth Act, they had I don't want to say more liberty, but they basically didn't have to comply if they didn't want to, right? They didn't have to be as helpful unless the person that they were looking for had some charges, right? And this woman had charges. So under that act, they had to be a little bit more compliant with requests as far as, maybe address or, whoever they had to give this information. So they had to be a little bit of an assistance because of these charges. And I thought that was so interesting because at the time that I talked about it in episode 129, you would probably think it'll be like your Kilmar Garcias, right? Someone who is allegedly in a gang, someone who is allegedly doing like really, really terrible things in the community. Now, granted, I don't know what her breach of peace or third degree assault is about. I don't know. Maybe it was a family feud. Maybe she was, at a gas station, got into it with somebody. I don't know. What I do know is because of that, I think it allowed, New Haven police to be a little bit more compliant when ICE did come in. Now, the second thing I wanted to mention is in this article, Kika Matos with the National Immigration Law Center, she stated, having witnessed her mother be kidnapped and snatched away in the morning, she, referring to 13-year-old daughter, is feeling deep trauma. Here's my thing about this. Just like the recap comment I read, I don't like when we try to rage bait, play on people's emotions. Like, do I believe the daughter to have suffered some type of trauma, like cars swarming in, your mom getting snatched out? Yes. Do I believe we need to refer to it as kidnapping? No. Because if the mom had an arrest warrant, the police would have did the same thing. And you're going to say because her mom was arrested, she was kidnapped? No. But because it's under this framework of immigration and deportation, we use certain trigger words to get people to be emotional about the circumstance. And I think that is so wrong. I don't like it. It's going to connect later to another story that happened in the headlines, but I just don't like it. Don't play on people's emotions. Just report the facts. Like, you simply can report the facts. The video in and of itself was a lot. So we don't need you to come out talking about she witnessed her mom being kidnapped and snatched away. No. And plus you make it worse for the daughter. Like, use the correct words. She was arrested. She was detained. You know what I mean? And however their ICE, right, their approach was, it might have been a little crazy, but that doesn't mean we get to now just start using words to heighten people's emotions. We should not be doing that. I think that is so wrong and so messed up. And Miss Matos, please, girl, enough. Okay. This last thing for our headlines I thought was so funny, so I just thought, I read it to you guys. Connecticut ranked 48 on a scale of where 1 is the most and 50 is the least for states that spend the least amount of income on fast food. I thought that was so interesting. One, yes, Connecticut is a small state, but like the states on the list varied. So it didn't really have to do anything with the size of the state. I just think it's where people spend their money because it definitely varied. Like, it wasn't like all of the smaller states were at the end. That was not the case. So I don't know. I just found that to be very, very funny. Now, I'm really excited about this. Okay. So much has happened and I'm so excited to get into it. So excited to be back talking to you guys. We are about to jump into our headlines. First up. Now, this story, when it happened, what was this, like last week, the week before? Oh my God. It was everywhere. It was everywhere. And it was so messy. I'm sure you guys already know what I'm talking about. It was so messy, so catty. You would have thought these were like two high school girls going at each other. Very much Mean Girls, very much Regina George vibes. And I just couldn't understand it because these are supposed to be two politicians. Two politicians, one being the president. Insane. So, what am I referring to? Gavin Newsom versus Donald Trump. So, as we all know, ICE went in super heavy, super deep into LA looking to round them up. Okay. It's deportation time, and they went in full force. We had images of burning vehicles and the protesters, and it was just a lot. Okay. It was really, 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 it was really bad. I'm not going to lie. It was a lot. The thing that struck me, and I don't know about you guys, but a lot of the signs and the protesters, I really didn't understand because it was like my biggest thought was, and this is just us talking. My biggest thought was if I am protesting, not going back to my actual country where I'm a citizen of, if I'm protesting that, then I should probably be out there with an American flag. I don't think I would be showing pride for Mexico if that's the place I'm protesting to not go to. I would probably lead towards an American flag showing my, you know, showing how proud I am to be an American citizen. I don't think I would go out there with the flag of the country I'm saying don't send me back to, but that's what we saw a lot of. Now, Politico writes, for Democrats, it's a concern rooted in Trump's historic strength on immigration, with voters not in Los Angeles, but watching on social media and TV in swing states and districts across the country. So they're basically like, yes, we have all these images, but these images either hurt um us, or they hurt Trump, and they hurt Trump in whatever way, and they hurt us because it shows that, yeah, we do need to get rid of these people, right? Like, look at how much damage they're doing to the city of Los Angeles. Like, they probably should be deported, especially in states where the vote can go either way for presidency. Now, Gavin Newsom told Politico, he said, it's just an extraordinary moment, and I don't want to overstate it, but these are the words of an authoritarian. So basically, when Trump was like, get him out of here, he's sending in, who was it? National Guard or something like that. Like, he's sending in troops. Like, this needs to be, handled, sorted out, cleaned up, right? And for me, I personally, whenever I hear someone use a word like authoritarian, a tyrant, anything like that, I'm looking up the definition, because let me tell you, I saw a TikTok video, y'all, and a guy was out protesting, and it said, no kings, no tyrant. And so they were saying that the person's page, I was reading the comments, and they were saying that the person's page, he is, on the right wing, the conservative side or whatever. So he's asking the guy, like, it was a black gentleman asking this white gentleman who's holding the sign, says no kings, no tyranny. He's asking, like, okay, what are you out here for? And he's like, oh, I'm out here because, Trump is so bad, yada, 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 all the regular rhetoric. So then he asked him, he said, well, what does your sign mean? And he read the sign. He didn't say what it meant. So he said, okay, yeah, I can read it. What does it mean? What does tyranny mean? What does tyrant mean? And the guy goes, well, I'm not sure, but I know I don't want it. Right. So we're not sure what it means, but we know we don't want it. That's a problem. That is a problem. I told you guys before, don't just go running out to be a part of a movement just to be a part of a movement. I think a lot of people quickly see, I think everyone, we're in this time where we all want to be an ally. We all want to be an ally. If there's a cause, everyone wants to be an ally. No one wants to be seen as the bad guy. We all need to be an ally and be supportive of each other. But sometimes some things just aren't our battle. Hello, brown people. Sometimes things just aren't our battle. So with that being said, if you do want to go and be a part and be an ally and be in support and protest, at least know what you're protesting. At least know what the sign you're holding says. So when Gavin Newsom said that, Trump is moving like an authoritarian, well, now I'm going to go and see what an authoritarian is, because I don't want to then speak that same language and not know what I'm saying, right? So, an authoritarian is favoring or enforcing strict obedience to authority, especially that of the government, at the expense of personal freedom. And then the second definition is power that is concentrated in a single ruler or a small group rather than being distributed among the people. So, I understand what he's saying. Trump is basically ruling with an iron fist, like it's my way or it's the highway. Get it, got it, good. Now, if I said, I don't want authoritarian leadership, at least now I can back it up with a definition. But I'm not going to go out and hold up a sign and not know what I have on my sign, not being able to say, why am I outside protesting? We saw recently, right? This is just a real quick thing. Everyone, I think it was King's Day, or they were saying no King's Day, some of another, right? And that they had the nationwide protest. I am willing to bet it was a lot of people out there just to be out there, just to say they are an ally, just because they hear the noise of this is wrong, they go out. If you were to go out and ask these people, same right or left, whatever you're protesting, go out and ask them, why is it wrong? A lot of people are going to be like, oh, because I don't like Trump. Trump's a bad guy. Trump's horrible. Trump doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, what doesn't he know what he's doing? What part is he getting wrong? What part could be better? And people don't know. They'll start spewing headlines. Well, I saw that he. Give me the facts. If this is what you're so passionate about, a lot of you aren't passionate about it. You just want to be an ally. And I understand. We all want to support one another. We all want to hold hands and kumbaya together. I get it. But at least know what you're joining, what you're signing up for. So you don't look like a complete fool when you're asked. When someone asks you, what are you here to do? What are you looking to? What is your message? You don't know. You're just here because you read some headlines. You saw on Instagram, this is where the protest is going to be. And you said, well, let me just show up. So now I can be on my social medias and look like the good guy, look like an ally. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know how this helps my day to day. I don't know. I just want to be an ally. That to me is a little bit dangerous because, again, if you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. And we are in a day and time where people just fall for anything. I feel like if you are a Trump supporter, at least be convicted in that and know why. If you're not, at least be convicted in that and know why. Y'all don't know your whys. You're just standing there, hoping that someone tells you, hoping that someone gives you the message, hoping that someone gives you the words to say. That to me is not an ally. If you're an ally and you're on my side and you're a part of me and you're a part of what I want to advocate for, then at least have the words, have the knowledge, have the depth. So you can be a true ally in helping. Because just standing out there screaming, it's not helping. We have the numbers, but we don't have the actual strength. Okay? Now, when that being said, on June 9th, California sued Trump because they were saying they're authorizing deployment without, against their will. They're bringing in all these people. Cool. There's comments that Trump's moves were designed to provoke protesters to produce footage showing a major American city in chaos. They think, right? So the Democrats think it's an attempt to distract from the economy, from the messiness previously with Elon Musk. And now even, we got the situation going on in Iran. It was kind of happening all at once. I told you the last few weeks have been a little bit crazy. And so they're like, well, yeah, if he gets up here and boasts about this and he looks like he's doing something good. I will give you that, Democrats. Trump made a lot of promises, right, on his campaign run. He made a lot of promises. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to do that. I will never do this and I will never do that. And the one thing that he can hold true to that he did or is doing is a deportation, is trying to figure out immigration. Do I think he is doing it the right way? Absolutely not. I don't think, like I said previously, with a lot of things they got going on, I don't think we go in quick and fast and hot and ready to go. I think we have to take our time, make sure there are proper procedures in place, make sure that a Kilmar Garcia doesn't happen where it's an administrative error because we're moving too fast, we're being too quick. I think we have to like be a little bit like at this point, it's all about being proactive, right? Reactive is like go in, get them out. Proactive is okay, what's the long term effects of this and how can we better this? Because then at some point he came out talking about how the deportations could hurt the agriculture culture and maybe because of agriculture, we should not deport farmers. And it's like, sir, pick a struggle, okay? Pick a struggle. Now your billionaire friends, they probably hurting, you know what I'm saying? They got their agriculture farming situation going on because farming, believe it or not, it's a big business, especially in the United States. They got that going on, and now they scared to come to work, scared to leave the house, you know? You messing stuff up for them. And now you got to pump your brakes a little bit. See? Now if we are proactive, we don't have to pump our brakes because we already slow moving. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have no plan in place. He just went out on attack. And I think the protests helped him to basically tell his side of the fence, like, hey, I did something that I said I would do. You see, I did something. And now I'm sending all these troops and things like that to clean it up and get it together because the left don't know what to do about these immigrants. So, of course, I have to have it under control. I will agree with the Democrats. I do believe it's a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me tell you with this, there's a lot of things about distracting people, yada, yada, yada. Let me tell you what I don't like about this, okay? Let's just jump into it. I do not like that politicians get up on TikTok. And I mean, granted, should you use social media? Yes, because as a country, of course, populations get younger and younger and younger. So, yes, you should have a voice on there. Do I think whoever your social media manager is, do I think they need to be like Gen Z? No, I think like a later millennial because we can like get it and like we can like kind of catch the trends, but it won't feel so young. The stuff that Gavin Newsom had going on, it felt a little too young for me. Um, Trump in and of himself, the way he tweets, it's like, can someone grab this man phone? Like not every thought that you have needs to go out, because once you put it out there, it goes around the world like that. Boom, it's around there, And the way they handled this, like I said at the beginning, it gave very much Mean Girls. It was so, like sad almost, because these are the people who are in charge of running states, in charge of running a country. And this is how you behave? This is how you behave? It's wild to me. I thought there was supposed to be a level of like decorum. We love that word, right? A level of like I don't know, like I don't want my politician to be online making TikTok videos or posting. Gavin Newsom posted one video um with like Nicki Minaj sound to it. Like it was just weird. If I find it, I'll, throw it in, but it was just weird. It was a weird time and it was definitely upsetting. It was definitely upsetting. And it's a reason why a lot of other countries look at America as a joke because it's like, this what y'all got going on? This is what your politicians are doing? It is absolutely crazy. I hated it. Whatever your point is, if it is a distraction, if Trump is trying to prove that he's doing something for his, his base, his voters and things like that, cool. I could give a fuck less. What I don't like is that we get on social media as politicians and treat it like we're two high school girls trying to outbully each other. It's weird. It's weird. At some point, we need a politician to behave like a politician. I think that's when this country will kind of get back in order. Right now, we have this very, very sick obsession with being a celebrity and being seen and all of that. Like, it is crazy. Okay? Instead of going to like do CNN, Fox, sit down with, I don't know, somebody like I said before, remember when Trump was running for president, all of them really going to sit down with podcasters and stuff. Like at this point, but babes, just every year just have a celebrity run for president or for governor or something like that, because that's all they want to be anyway. They just want to be goddamn celebrities. It's weird. I hated that. So that was really why I talked about this, because the stuff I was every time I scrolled on TikTok, I'm thinking it's the parody page, y'all. I'm like, then I click on a page. I said, oh, this is a real page. This is his real page. This is not a parody. This is his real page. You really posted that. Who is around you approving this? That's crazy. Anyways, moving on. So next up, we had the situation with Senator Padilla, who was forcibly removed from Homeland Security. Secretary Kristi Noem's news conference that she spoke about the raids on ICE. So let's just watch this clip because I have thoughts. I have thoughts, y'all.
Guys, ready? And sir, hands up, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your hands up.
Many of our ICE agents have been docked or
On the ground. On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you get on my hands, go ahead, stand behind my back.
All right. Cool. One hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
I do not know.
There's no recording allowed out here per FBI, right?
So what, I'm sorry? There's no recording on that.
Now, in that clip, okay, understand something. The man just started charging toward this lady. First up, you cannot enter into anything, especially if she has some type of Secret Service level of bodyguards. You cannot start charging toward this lady and then think just screaming out, I'm Senator such and such is going to get it done. Babe, I don't care who you are. Don't charge me, because if I pay these people to protect me, please believe my thought is that they're going to protect me. I could care less who you are. And then when he was being pushed back, he kept proceeding to go forward. What do you think being pushed back means? Being pushed back means to stop, halt where you are. Screaming that you're a senator don't get it done for nobody. That just doesn't make any sense. And you're saying that you have questions, sir. What did we learn in grade school? Raise your hand and wait to be called on. Exactly. Not bogard where this lady is screaming and ranting and raving. That is not the way to go, Senator. To me, you should know better. Again, I don't understand what's going on with the politicians. Y'all should know better. Y'all should know better. Y'all should be able to behave better. Do the right thing. What example is this that we're setting? Okay? I don't understand. I really, really don't understand. Now, the Democrats are like, at this point, right, they were calling for Kristi Noem to have resigned. They're calling for an investigation into I'm just gonna call him Secret Service. I don't know, her bodyguard, right? To like be investigated, find out about him, have him arrested, all kind of stuff. And I'm like, are y'all crazy? He did his job. That's what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to go and protect this woman, push back whoever is charging towards. That's what he was supposed to do. What y'all thought, because he's a senator and he's a Democrat, that he just gets to charge up there? Who knows what this man could have had planned? Who knows what he actually wanted to do? Nobody does. And good on him, the Social Security, the Secret Service bodyguard, for protecting his boss. That's what he's supposed to do. I don't understand. I really don't see how this could be misconstrued as anything but a bodyguard doing what a bodyguard's supposed to do. Then you have the Republicans who they dismissed it and they were like, this is just political theater. And I love that. Oh, I loved that phrase. A lot of what goes on nowadays is simply political theater. They are getting out here to give us a show. They are out here to just put on and do the most. Okay? That's literally all they're doing. That's it. And who was this? Hold on. Yeah, so the Republicans had said that this is disrespectful political theater. I think it is. I don't think you charge towards anybody in this type of way, especially if you're a senator. Like, do you not know how to behave? Kristi Noem told Fox LA that she had a conversation with the senator after that went great. And she didn't think what he did was appropriate, but they did have a conversation. Fine. Cool. What I did find oddly interesting is that Senator Padilla is the product of immigrant parents. Again, like I told you, we have these heightened emotions, we have this rage baiting, we have these just sensitive people who are using things and doing things to be triggered. There was no reason for him to behave that way. I think, whatever was said, however, whatever he's seeing on the news, he was triggered and he felt like the best thing to do was to charge into this news conference and get to yelling at this lady. And he got questions and all this other stuff. Sir, save your questions, write them down, raise your hand and wait to be called on. I think we all learned that in grade school. So there's that. Now, with that being said, I did want to do a little bit of research because, again, research is always important. So as I'm reading this article and, a lot of people are talking about, again, how we could be allies and how we can be supportive to the Latin community in America, Hispanics, Spanish, and things like that. I looked into it. Come to find out, there are 36.2 million Latinos who are eligible to vote. That is the second largest group behind white Americans. So let's put that out there, right? So they have the second largest vote, if you will, in America. Trump is still in office. Amongst voters who either or would have voted for Kamala Harris or voted for Donald Trump, the issue that they had least concerns about was immigration. There is that. No matter who they voted for, they were least concerned about immigration. So there is that. Their first concern was the economy. And I got this from the Pew Research that was done in 2024. So obviously this past election, right? Their top issues, the economy, healthcare, crime, gun policy, which I think I would tie together. And then their last one was immigration. No matter who they were voting for, their last concern was immigration. Like I said, understand who you're being an ally for. Now, let me tell you, this is not meaning that it's everybody. This is not meaning that it is everybody. All I'm saying is, if the people that voted, whether they voted for Harris or Trump, weren't that concerned, we need to understand. And I've heard it in different clips, and like I think it was Don't Call Me White Girl on her podcast. They had posted a clip where essentially she had said, she heard a conversation or someone had, wrote something basically along the lines of, that's them, not me, right? So they're in the, Latino community and they're like, yeah, that's their issue, not mine because I'm a citizen. And then I saw another clip where it was actually a TikToker who was like, I just left a store and two, Latino women one was a cashier, the other was a bagger. And I forgot, I don't know, something had come up, right? And they essentially were talking back and forth and was like, yeah, no, that's their issue, not mine. And she was like, oh, TikToker was like, oh, okay. Again, understand that people will, I really will say the left. The left will rage bait you into being an ally, and a lot of people don't feel the same way, you know? So again, know what you're standing behind, know what you're getting involved in, because when I did the research, I'm like, if 36.2 million eligible voters, right? Give or take, still a lot of people. Their last care is immigration. I'll just leave you with that. I'll just leave you with that. Because what really can be said? You know what I'm saying? What really can be said? And a lot of people that are protesting are either people who want to be seen as allies or people who don't want to be deported back to the country where they carry the flag. I don't so much understand, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, the next thing I wanted to talk about was the Israeli strikes on Iran. Now, listen. So we know what happened. Israel, bombed Iran. Now they were looking to basically kind of clear out their nuclear sites. They ended up killing some military leadership as well. And it was ahead of which I think would have been last Sunday, would have been a negotiation meeting that was being had to kind of basically talk to Iran and be like, hey, listen, we know you might have some nuclear sites. We know you guys might be trying to build some nuclear bombs. Let's just not, for the sake of the greater good, let's just not, So that was happening. And the craziest part is Minister Netanyahu, Bibi, he was like, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but I'm finna drop these bombs. Like, y'all can waste y'all time talking. I'm not for the talking. Drop them bombs. And he literally dropped his flex bombs and let them have it. Now, my issue, two issues. One, Trump came out and was basically like, look, Iran, I know they just did this, but like, y'all better not do nothing back because we kind of side with them. Are you serious? I don't understand why we're so under that man's thumb that bad. I'm not going to get into it because I do believe Israel to be like the boogeyman, but I don't understand why we're so up under their thumb like that. And then for Trump to just jump out and be like, yeah, we don't totally disagree. So, Iran, I would advise you just not do nothing. That's absolutely crazy. Okay, that's absolutely crazy. Who you should be talking to is your mans that you avoided when you went on your foreign tour when you first became president, Bibi Netanyahu. That's who you should have went and hollered at. You should have went and said, hey, we were having negotiations. We were trying to get this thing figured out. You can't go dropping bombs when we're trying to get this figured out. That's what you should have did. But I digress because, again, I don't know why we're so up under their thumb. I don't know. But Trump says we support Israel. So that is that. Catherine Nichols with CNN reports that Israeli ambassador to the United States, Yetro Leader, stated Israel is committed to guaranteeing that there is no nuclear weapons program left in Iran. Those who are going to challenge our will to live, first of all, anyone challenging our will to live is Israel. Because what the fuck is that man doing? Okay? What is he actually doing? Besides just bombing people and starting wars and beef every which way. What is... Those who are going to challenge our will to live in peace are going to have to be challenged by us, and that's what we're in the process of doing right now. So we should be challenging Bibi Netanyahu. Because we can't live in peace if every time this man feel like he got the right to, he just going to start bombing and blowing up cities and killing just innocent people. That is who we should be challenging, because that's the one who's disturbing the peace. You can't let's watch someone throw a rock into someone's home, then go to the homeowner and say, "We watching you." What? 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 I was just about house minding my business. Like they threw a rock at me and broke my window, which means you watching me. Maybe I'm crazy because okay, cool. Maybe they do have nuclear sites. That was the whole point of negotiations, right? All right. Now, Iraq jumps in to urge Iran to continue talks with the U.S. after the Israeli attack. And Minister Hussein expressed Iraq's strong condemnation of the military aggression targeting Iran, which I totally understand. It seemed like it just was out of left field, typical for Bibi Netanyahu. But he also urged Iran to stay the course with negotiations. And then he basically was like, look, y'all can't get mad if they attack back because they were attacked first. And we all know what our mamas taught us. If somebody hits you first, you better what? Exactly. Hit them back. So we can't be mad now if Iran decides it's up and it's stuck. We cannot be mad. I do think, now obviously bombs have been going back and forth, but at the time of me doing my research, we cannot be mad if it's up and it's stuck because they was over here trying to be peaceful. Maybe they do have these nuclear sites and they trying to make something shake with some nuclear bombs. Cool. But let's first try that's peaceful. And then if it needs to go where it needs to go, at least, like I said, at least we try to be proactive instead of reactive. Bibi Netanyahu don't give a damn. And he said he gonna be reactive and he just gonna start throwing bombs and throwing, like, come on, you can't strike them people. You can't strike them people. Then you got Trump being like, yeah, we stand in solidarity. Who do? Who? I'm telling you right now, mark my words. If should it so happen, a foreign terrorist attack happens, please God, I don't want to be a part of it. If a foreign terrorist attack happens, just know I don't think it was Iran. I think it was orchestrated and they trying to go to war. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Because it was just no reason for him to just, you know what I'm saying? BB, Benjamin. There was no reason, sir. There was absolutely no reason. You swung first. Now, of course, they're going to have to swing back. They're going to have to swing back. And I'm sure they did and they have. It's not going to go like it's going with Palestine. I'm telling you that right now. It ain't going to go down like that. We are very clear. It's not going to go down like that. They're not going to take this line down. It's not going to be, you could try to frame it however you want. There was no need to go and strike them people. I know y'all want to be big, bad, and tough, but there was just no reason. And we all know what Mama said. Mama said if they hit you first, go ahead and hit them back. And however they decide to respond, however far they decide to take it, that's on you. I don't think the U.S. needs to get involved because we was trying to do things the peaceful way. Now you want to involve us in some war that you just arbitrarily decided to start? I'll tell you one thing. When people act like this, it's a certain level of dominance they are seeking. It's a certain level of control they are seeking. And that needs to be checked. That cannot go unchecked. And I know people say, if you want to check anything that the Israeli government does, then you're anti-Semitic and you are a part of the problem and things like that. Some things just can't go unchecked. Like we just can't let things go unchecked. And this is actually crazy. Like it's happening in real time. It's happening in real time. No matter what narrative you paint, right? Someone was saying that they received a note And they were like, oh, bomb this communication center. And what do you know? The communication center got bombed. Bro, I don't care what type of trickery y'all try to put out there. A lot of us ain't dumb. We are no longer dumb. We are no longer asleep. Okay? So whatever y'all think y'all finna run with, please stop. I already feel in my heart of hearts that a terroristic event is coming. It's going to be catastrophic. It's going to be sad. It's going to make everyone be like, yes, we have to strike Iran. But it's like, bro, don't fall for it. Mark my words. Because for me, it's very sad. It's very scary. I will not lie. I think that Israel wants all out war for, whatever Minister Bibi Netanyahu got going on. Whatever his idea is, he trying to get that shit done, and he wants the support of the U.S. I don't know what the relationship is or why the relationship is the way it is. Maybe y'all could fill me in, but yeah, he got some trickery up his sleeve. He's planning something, and we're aiding him. We're enabling him to get what he wants. I don't know. We gotta see it play out, but shit is spooky. Now, last but not least, this just recently happened, literally. As y'all know, Thursday was Juneteenth. Okay, happy Juneteenth, my niggas. Donald Trump tweets, you know what? Or maybe it was Truth Social. So maybe he socialed. I don't know what the term is. But he said, too many non-working holidays in America. It is costing our country billions of dollars, all caps with the dollar sign, to keep all of these businesses closed. The workers don't want it either. Pause. What workers? Because as someone who works in HR, I have never heard someone complain about getting a day off. I can tell you that right now. Actually, they ask for more days off. They'll tell you about holidays you didn't even know exist. Okay, I get the calls. Are we going to have such and such off? What's that? Oh, that's a holiday on X date. No, we are not. People be calling up about Cinco de Mayo, St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, the folks be wanting stuff off. Easter. Okay, yes, the folks be wanting stuff off. So who are the workers that don't want it? Because depending on where you work, you probably get paid holidays. So if you could have 15,000 of them, you gonna want them. Like what? He continues to say, soon we'll end up having a holiday for every once working day of the year. I guess for every one working day of the year. It must change if we are going to make America great again. A few problems I had with this. Problems I had with this is because he came into office January 20th. So we had after him coming into office, we had Washington's birthday. I think it's Lincoln's birthday that month. President's Day. I think all of them is in February. Then you got Memorial Day. You know what I'm saying? We're here at Juneteenth. Independence Day. He could have waited 2 weeks and Truth Social this. We got Labor Day. I wonder if he'll say that again. Columbus Day. Come on, we could get rid of Columbus Day. Or what is it? Indigenous Peoples Day. We could get rid of that. We don't really need that. Come on. Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day. We could get rid of Thanksgiving Day. We could get rid of it. But see, that's something that he won't do because that then goes into capitalism. Because Thanksgiving has now turned into, I can't even say Black Friday because Black Friday used to be on Friday. Now they be like, doorbuster deals at 3 p.m. starting Thursday. What? That's not Black Friday. That's literally the time when people start getting together and start getting prepared for dinner or getting dressed, depending on what, side you fall on. But hey, to me, ain't nothing but celebrating the genocide. So I'm saying we could get rid of Thanksgiving Day if you want to. We could get rid of Independence Day, July 4th if you want to. Labor Day, we could get rid of that one too. Columbus Day. Veterans Day, I say keep Veterans Day. You know what I'm saying? I'm down with my people, but it's a lot of holidays that he could get rid of. Oh, just so happened to be Juneteenth, just so happened to be after nobody showed up for your birthday or whatever parade. You know what I'm saying? People get pissed off, right? Nobody show up. Now all of a sudden, I told you at the beginning, they act like high school girls. Nobody show up for their function. Now they ready to be mad and tweeting about everybody else and trying to, you know what I'm saying, ruffle some feathers because nobody showed up for them. Girl, if you don't pipe down, pull your skirt down. Get your panties out of a bunch, okay? Talking about some of the workers don't want it. What workers? What workers did you talk to? Donnie, what workers did you talk to that don't want holidays? Because again, I work in HR, babes. They be calling me about getting these holidays off. It be new people starting. They be like, oh, what holidays do we get off? And they start listing them. I told y'all, just start listing holidays. No, we don't get that day off. No, we don't get that day off. We don't get that day off. Just listing them. So what workers do you know that don't want them off? I will wait because I am so interested to know what workers he talked to. Because I don't know nobody that's going to complain about having a day off. And then not every company closes. Because if that was the case, I wouldn't have been able to be out doing what I was doing on Juneteenth if all these companies closed. So what are you talking about? I think you're upset that nobody showed up for your birthday parade and they were protesting you on your birthday. And it looks pathetic out there. So you were like, I'm going to get them back. And you got to tweeting nonsense. Donnie, go ahead, pull your skirt down, sis, because you are bugging. You are not going to make America great again by trying to cancel non-working holidays. It's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you, a lot of companies are going to keep them. Because you start getting rid of stuff, people going to be like, well, add it to my PTO. If you're going to get rid of this non-working holiday, go ahead, add it to my PTO. Or I'm going to go somewhere else that is keeping the holidays. That is all. Okay? It's going to be really hard to give people a benefit and then snatch the benefit back. It's very hard to do that. Let me tell you. Very, very hard. So although, you were frustrated and you just wanted to tweet something, I can tell you right now, the workers, we want our holidays. Thanks. And with that being said, that is all that I have for you guys. Thank you guys for being so patient with me. It'd be a lot. I will not lie. It'd be a lot, okay? And doing this and trying to just make everything happen and run smoothly. But every single time you guys have my back and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. So yeah, like I said, my camera is out, getting repairs, getting replaced. She was having a meltdown, in her feelings, I guess. I was using her too much. I don't know, child, but she's out. She's getting repaired. She's getting replaced. So for now, y'all have to deal with this quality. It's, they told me 2 to 4 weeks. Who knows? I could even go to 6 weeks. I don't know. However long it takes, I will still be here. I'll be excited to get my camera back. But yeah, I'll be here and hopefully no more technical difficulties because y'all, any little minor inconvenience, I always say, and people always be like, what? I do believe I'm just a girl. Any minor inconvenience, go ahead, wrap it up. I'm good. I'm good. Any minor inconvenience, babe, I'm good. Okay. One thing about me, I love convenience. I love for things to just run smoothly. If it's up to me, I'll just pay more, pay extra, pay what I got to pay for the convenience. Because if it gets to have a minor inconvenience, count me out. I don't got the time of day. So I don't know. That's that. But yes, like I always say, if you want to talk, we could talk. If you want to share your opinion, share your perspective, do that. If you think I'm gonna go back and forth to debate you, I'm not. You could debate your grandmother because I don't give a fuck exactly. And with that being said, I'll see y'all next time. Bye.